All right, Spotify
Sad
to lay off
situation.
17% of its staff. Its third round of job cuts this year. By the way, it seems like every couple months we're telling the story, and it's not an old story. It's a new story, and this is according to WSJ. Spotify is set to lay another 17% of its workforce, approximately 1,500 employees, making its third round of job cuts in 2023 as part of an effort to boost profitability. CEO Daniel Ek emphasized the need for cost reduction, stating being lean is not just an option, but a necessity. Company anticipates incurring charges of up to 145 million euros, so $157 million in the final quarter of the year due to the layoffs, and expects an operating loss of $93 million to $108 million during the fourth quarter, revising down its prior forecast of $37 million operating profit. However, CFO Paul Vogel remains confident in the company's profitability projections for 2024, saying we're doing this from a position of strength. Tom, are they doing this from a position of trying to find some money to pay Joe to renew his contract? What is this all about?
There may be part of it, but there are two things going on here. One of them I'm going to cover in a coming week on a BizDoc podcast here from Valuetainment. And that is, the first thing that's happening is Spotify is having to right-size its finances for two reasons. One, the underlying cost of the music is like 82%. So in other words, for every dollar they bring in, they got to pay out like 82%. That gets carved up in these little pennies and slices of pennies and sent out to all the music acts and everything. That's first. It's the second of all, they're trying to make podcasts a success, and they've had to liberate themselves of. They made some acquisitions that added some fat. They got rid of the Obamas. They got rid of some people that weren't performing, and they need to re-sign Joe Rogan. So I think they are trying to right-size the company for profitability and get ready for the signing of Joe Rogan. And point B, which I'm going to get to in a couple weeks, is we're about to see the consolidation of streaming services the same way we saw the consolidation of cell phone companies. That's the way it's going to work.
Who's going to be the big dog behind Apple?
Apple and Paramount Plus are going to get married, or they're going to consolidate into a single offering and then split proceeds, but offer it as one offering. You're going to see things like that happen the same way that you saw. Look at everything we saw in the United States. Once upon a time, we had Singular bought by AT&T. Right, we had Primeco bought by SBC, and then SBC.
You think Spotify will be in the buying or the one being bought?
Spotify is going to be one of the buyers, acquirers. I look at Pandora. Is Pandora going to be there all by itself much longer, or does Spotify kind of absorb that and be the mega service? Perhaps, but I think that's the part two. Part one is they're trying to right-size their finances and get ready for the re-signing of Joe Rogan, and they spent a hell of a lot of money trying to get into podcasting, and a lot of it went bad.
Other than Rogan, who are Spotify's biggest content creators these days?
They have a lot of them. If you go on their leaders bulletin, they have a lot of good ones. Yeah, they have a lot of good ones. It's not like they have one or two.
But nobody's close to like Rogan's contract. Pat is ridiculous.
Did they have Obama and Springsteen?
They had Obama and Springsteen.
They had
Kardashian. They had Prince Harry
those all
and
fell
Meghan.
by the wayside.
They didn't renew. They're like, we're moving on.
They're like, you guys are not.
Who are their biggest people now other than Rogan?
I genuinely don't even know. Who is it, Robbie?
They've got a bunch of crime stuff that does very well.
Say the names. They're on Spotify. Like, meaning anybody you say is on Spotify. All the big names are on Spotify.
Whether exclusive.
Not exclusive. People are streaming it everywhere. But they're not. Spotify, unless if you're willing to pay the kind of money you paid Joe to some other podcasters. Most guys don't want to have their podcast be in one place. Yeah, they had to pay to get that from. Of course, Rogan.
Correct. They are a record label for Joe Rogan, but they are also the world's largest radio station for everybody, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah, I'm just wondering who they paid massive amount of money to.
They're done.
Nobody.
They spent $1 billion on marketing money.
Harry and Meghan.
They spent $1 billion on marketing money and got a few names, and that's Meghan and Harry. They got Kardashian. They got Obama and Bruce, and they got Rogan. And that was the marketing dollars they spent when they raised $1 billion. They need to do that to keep Joe.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other places that would love to have Joe. And there's plenty of places that would love to have Joe.
Of all those podcasts, Rogan's the only one still standing. All those guys, basically, they're out.
Yeah, the Obamas and stuff. Oh, yeah, for sure. Nobody, who the hell's going to...
But as a record label, they have a lot of profitable podcasts that are at the mid-tier. They're very profitable. So
Obama's trying to get one of his former employees to keep his job. That's what he's working on right now.
Who, the cook?
No. He's trying to. One of his former VPs. He's trying to help him to.
Joe Biden,
the sleepy, creepy Joe.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.